Being great at sales is essential to your business and your career, but you and I both know that the stress of selling and dealing with constant rejection can be an emotional drain. My entire brand, No BS Selling, is based on the belief that professional sales is a skill and not a personality, and that to be better at sales takes constant refinement and a dedication to your craft. This show is for salespeople and entrepreneurs who are committed to improving their sales skills and getting better results, and are sick and tired of the BS game that often happens between buyers and sellers. Welcome to the No BS Sales Podcast, and I'm your host, Walker McKay. I'll help you and your sales team make selling easier, feel less cheesy, and be more lucrative. It's time to change the rules and level the playing field between you and the people you sell to. You're already good, let's be better. Welcome to No BS Sales School. So glad you tuned in today. I want you to subscribe, go mash the subscribe button and review this podcast. Also share it with your friends. This is going to be super important because today I'm going to tell you 5 things you need to be doing right now so that you can crush the first quarter 2021. There's a mistake that I made, 12, 13 years ago, and I did it 2 years in a row, and it was terrible. And I want to be able to help you guys not make that mistake. Like so many things, a lot of what I talk about is to me or from my direct experience. So a bunch of years ago, I somehow believed that no one did business between Thanksgiving and New Year. Somebody told me that, right? And so I just took it to heart. And so the first year, so right about Thanksgiving, I said, shit, nobody's going to be buying anything. Nobody's going to buy sales training. Nobody's going to buy whatever it was, sales training. During this time, they're too busy with Christmas stuff and year-end stuff. So I didn't really prospect. And maybe that was a subconscious decision. I don't know if I actively said I'm not going to prospect, but I just didn't prospect. And what happened was it proved to be true. Nobody bought between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then what happened was nobody bought in January or February either because I hadn't been planting seeds. But I didn't really put all that together. I'm not the brightest bulb. So the following year, when I said, you know what, nobody's going to buy between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and beginning of first quarter sucks anyway, and the weather's perfect, so maybe I can just hunt some more. So sometime around beginning November, I decided, hell, let's just spend more time in the woods. That'll be great, which was great. But it did not help me with my business whatsoever. So the following year, despite what everybody was saying, I said, shit, I've got to sell stuff between Thanksgiving and New Year's because I don't have any other choice. I've got to make more money. And so it's amazing what happened. I spent this time prospecting and talking to people. And you know what? Fourth quarter was my best quarter that year. People do buy what you're selling in the fourth quarter, no matter what your peers tell you, no matter what other people are doing, people will buy what you sell fourth quarter. And even more importantly, if you don't prospect during fourth quarter, your first quarter will suck too. If you look back and your fourth quarter is always terrible, check back what you were doing 90 days before that. That's usually a pretty good test. So here are 5 things you ought to be doing right now to have a good first quarter. Because for many of us, it's too late to make a difference for the fourth quarter. But you need to be prospecting for first quarter if that's the case. Otherwise, this won't hurt you in fourth quarter either. Number 1, check your goals. Where were you hoping to be at this point? Where are you hoping to be at the end of 2021? Where do you hope to be? Not what your boss says, not what the company says. Where are you hoping to be? And the second question I want you to ask yourself is, why? Why does that matter? Simon Sinek and a bunch of other people know, right, that it's your why that matters the most. It's not just what. So you make another $100,000, who gives a shit, right? It's what gets to happen if you do. What are you allowed to do? What will you be able to do if you get that done that you would not be able to do if you don't make that kind of money? If you're not sure what that would be, or you say things like, well, I don't really care about money. That doesn't really matter to me so much. Go ask your spouse. Go ask your spouse, hey, if I make another $100,000 this year, what do we get to do? What would you like to do with the money? I guarantee you they'll have something they want to do with the money. And maybe that's your why, because you want to take care of your spouse. Then I want you to think about this. How will you feel if you do it? How great will it feel if you beat the hell out of your goals, you make another $100,000 or whatever your number is? How great will that feel? Think about that feeling, because that's what will motivate you, is the feeling that you have. I want you to put yourself there now and get that feeling right now. And then, as a converse to that, how will you feel if you don't make that? How will you feel if you don't make it? If you let your spouse down or you let yourself down? If you really don't give a shit, it's probably not a very good goal. You got to buy into this and have a really strong why of why it matters. Check that in yourself. If you're struggling with goal setting or that's something you need to work on, you or your team, we've got programs for that. Call me. Happy to set you up, talk about that. Second thing I want you to do is to check your pay time. Pay time are the hours you spend actually growing your business, bringing new money into the business, the stuff you do to bring new money into the business. So what I want you to think about pay time is, first of all, let's figure out what your hourly rate is. What is your time worth right now? So to do that exercise, what I want you to do is take the amount of money that you're going to make this year. What's your total income for 2020? And then I want you to divide that by the number of hours that you work. The simple way to do that is if you work 50 weeks at 40 hours a week, if you're doing that, good for you. I'm working more than that. 50 weeks, 40 hours a week, and divide that into your income. So 2,000, divide your income by 2,000 and see what your hourly rate is. To do the math, if you're making $100,000 a year and you're working 50 weeks at 40 hours, that puts you at $50 an hour. That's what your time's worth right now. So if you want to make more money, you either need to work more hours or you need to raise your hourly rate, right? So think about the stuff that you're doing right now in the hours of your day. How much of that time is spent in worthless meetings, in working on proposals that don't turn into business, in meetings that suck, talking to people in the hallway that aren't helping you grow your business? How much time you spend doing that? If most people are truly honest, okay, and if you're really truly honest about your time, most people figure out that they're spending a ton of time in what I would call no pay time activities, like we're talking about right there. To raise your hourly rate, you need to focus more on the things that are bringing you new money in the door. There are about 4, maybe 5 of those things. Number 1 is prospecting for new business, right? Talking to people about new business. This can be people you're not doing business with right now, or it can be talking to your existing clients about doing more business with you. Here's a little secret. Having business meetings with your existing clients where you don't have a business agenda, where you're just going to have lunch and catch up and make friends, that is not pay time. It may be valuable. It may be you need to do it, but that's not pay time. Prospect is one thing that's pay time. Asking for referrals is pay time activity. Training is a pay time activity. Getting better at what you do. Planning is a pay time activity. We got to block our day off to do those things, and that's what's going to grow our business. Most people figure out, if they're really honest with themselves, they're probably only spending an hour of pay time a day at most, right? The rest of the time is filled with other stuff. Theoretically, if you want to double your income, all you need to do is double your pay time, go from 1 hour to 2 hours. But that takes discipline, and you got to block it out and make sure you get it done. Are you committed to reach your goal? Block that time out. Number 3, what you need to, so the third thing you need to do is identify your ideal prospects and then create a behavior plan. You know who your ideal prospects are, right? They're ones right in your sweet spot. They're profitable. There are many hundreds, if not thousands of them in your marketplace. And if you had somewhere between, I don't know, call it 30 and 100 ideal prospects, you'd have a really nice business. 30 to 100 ideal prospects. What does an ideal prospect look like for you? What's the revenue stream look like? What are they worth? What's the kind of work, what are the kind of problems that those people are having that you can solve? The cool thing about ideal prospects is if you had 30 of them and you lose a couple, it doesn't impact your business so much. If you're relying on 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 customers to do all your business, you're at risk. One of those guys goes away, you're dead. You're dead as a hammer. Think about, how can I go find, who are my ideal prospects in the marketplace? Describe them to yourself so you can describe it to other people. And then I want you to go out and find a list. Go create a list of 50 to 100 of them. Just start with that, 50 to 100 prospects, ideal prospects you'd like to do business with. Complete the list. This feels like work. It is work. Complete the list. And then when you complete the list, I want you to begin with a behavior plan. Pick up the phone, start calling those people. See if you can set appointments with those folks. Get in front of them. This is the kind of stuff you've been in business for a while. You probably stopped doing a while ago, right? You're just growing your business because people are calling you. If you've been in the business for a while and you got to grow it, this is where you next go to it. If you're beginning in the business, you're just getting started, same thing. 50 to 100 prospects that you'd like to do business with, they're ideal. Begin your calling plan and your meeting plan now. Number 4, go through your dead files. Dead files are those things that, those deals maybe you worked on, those customers or prospects you went after in the last 12, 18, 24 months that you ended up not doing business with. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe you didn't get the deal. Maybe you blew it, right? Maybe you caught them at the wrong time, right? Maybe you just blew it. Here's the thing. Your prospects world changes every 90 days. And just because it didn't work out 18 months ago, 2 years ago, 12 months ago, 6 months ago, go back to your dead files. You already have a, quote, relationship there, right? Call those folks. I bet there's $100,000 worth of business in your dead files. Number 5, build your influencer network. What's an influencer network? Those are probably the people that are calling on the same kind of prospects you are. They're calling on your ideal prospects right now, but they're not your competitor. They sell other things to your prospects. Get to know those folks. Find out how you can help them. Who are they trying to meet that you know? Right? Go out to be a net giver. Meet those people who are calling your same prospects and ask if you can introduce them to some other people they don't know. Most of the time, what you'll hear back is, hey, that'd be great. I'd be happy to do the same for you. If you don't hear that, maybe you can make a suggestion. Hey, if I'm okay doing this for you, will you okay doing this for me? Doing the same for me. If I do this for you, will you do this for me? Right? What you'll find is if you make the choice to be a giver, if you make the choice to be somebody who introduces other people, by making that choice, you're going to put more stuff out in the atmosphere, out in the world. It's good karma, man. And by doing that, when 2 people who are givers, who've made a choice to be givers, meet each other, they can make a hell of a lot of money. They can make each other a hell of a lot of money. So whoever that may be, maybe it's somebody else in a different division of your company. Maybe it's somebody who's selling something else to your same competitors. Maybe it's an advisor like a lawyer or an accountant. But build relationships with those guys. Find the ones that are givers and work with them. You'll make each other a hell of a lot of money. So the 5 things are, number 1, check your goals. Number 2, check your pay time. Number 3, identify your ideal prospects and create a behavior plan. 50 to 100 prospects. Get a list, name, phone number, address, everything else. And then begin a prospecting plan where you call a certain number of them every single week. Number 4, go through your dead files. Look at business that may come back around or maybe you got another shot at. And number 5, work on your influencer network. That will make you lots of money long term. Love to hear when you begin to do this, what's happened. Send me an email, walker@walkermckay.com. Let me know how this is working and how it's helping you. I've got a newsletter. If you go to walkermckay.com/newsletter, got a newsletter that we send out twice a week that gives sales tips, sales advice, a book list, things we're reading, things we're experiencing, a link to the podcast, that kind of stuff. Go sign up for the newsletter. It's very helpful. People like it. I get lots of good feedback on it. And for the next 2 weeks, if you sign up for the newsletter, I will send you automatically a copy of our rapid referral process, the No BS rapid referral process, to help you see how you can get better referrals from your existing clients than you ever have in the past. No BS sales team, I love you. Thank you for listening. Please, once again, press subscribe, rate the podcast. It really helps improve the ratings. Listeners are growing every single day. I'm really excited about the way things are going. 2021 is going to be a kick-ass year. And I want it to be a kick-ass year for you too. You want help? You want to see if I can help you? Email me, walker@walkermckay.com. Go to my website, get some information. Let's work together. Let's make 2021 the best year ever.